Namah Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Sunyabhari Paschatya Desha Tarine Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sri Vasari Gaura Bhaktavrinda Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sri Vasari Gaura Bhaktavrinda Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Oh Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Oh Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Oh Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Oh Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Oh Hare Hare Srila Prabhupada ki jai Gantharaj Bhagavatam ki jai Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai Nitai Gaura Premanandi Hari Hari Bo Om Tat Sat Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya 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 Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So today we're reading from Srimad Bhagavad Gita. First of all, the translation of this invocation of the Bhakti Shastras presented by Srila Vyasadeva in the Srimad Bhagavatam. And the translation is, O my Lord Sri Krishna, son of Vasudev, O all-pervading personality of Godhead, I offer my respectful obeisances unto you. I meditate upon Lord Sri Krishna because he is the absolute truth and the primeval cause of all causes of the creation, sustenance, and destruction of the manifested universe. So, today we are reading for the pleasure of Srila Prabhupada and Sisi Radha Govardhana, Sisi Krishna Balaram Giriraj Maharaj. This is the Gaurani time. Srila Prabhupada got the instruction from Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur that if nobody comes, preach to the four walls. So here we are. What we were discussing last week was the questions and answers that are presented in the Bhakti Shastras, particularly in Srimad Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. Famously, in the first canto, towards the end of the first canto, chapter 19 of Srimad Bhagavatam, we find that finally Sukadev Goswami meets, or Parikshit Maharaj rather, meets Sukadev Goswami. The title of the chapter is The Appearance of Sukadev Goswami. So Sukadev Goswami appears to answer the questions that Parikshit Maharaj had. And those questions are, if we analyze the conclusion of the Vedas, the questions that Parikshit Maharaj presented to Sukadev Goswami basically define the perfection of questions. Because just like the book that the BBT produced containing the conversation between Bob Cohen, who eventually will become Brahmatirtha Prabhu, presented to Prabhupada, in the same way Arjuna presents questions to Krishna. And these are the questions. So we will discuss that questions in relationship or in, shall we say, triangulation with the questions that Parikshit Maharaj presented. Parikshit Maharaj presented several questions to the sages first of Naimi, not the sages of Naimisharanya. Where were they? They were gathered to hear this conversation. What is that place? You remember? You know the place name? It's up northwest, I think. Northwest. Where the Bhagavatam is recited. Sukadev Goswami, Parikshit Maharaj. I forgot. I just heard it this morning or yesterday. You remember? Shastra Chaksupu? The name of the place where the Bhagavatam is recited? Huh? No. Where Parikshit Maharaj asks the questions. Escape my mind. So basically, he presented, we may say, 2 questions. So what are the questions that Parikshit Maharaj presented? What a living man should do and what a dying man should do. That's basically the question. One question divided into 2. What should I do? Because, and that question, just like Arjuna's question, represents our predicament, our situation. We are living, right? That's the concept. And we're dying. Yeah? And just like in the terminal at the airport, there's arrival and there's departure. And we are just in the waiting lounge, as they call it. Yeah, waiting lounge? Waiting room. And then we're there, and then we're sitting, and then some people happens to sit next to us, and then we become attached. This is my wife, and this is my son, this is my property, and this is my this, and my body, and everything. We become so attached. And then Prananda Maharaj gives this example, and then you're making your little comfort zone and everything, and you have a deed, and this is my property and my card, and everything is under your name and your bank account and everything. And then one day, loudspeaker says, "Okay, Mr. So-and-so, you have to board your plane." Right? And you knew that you have to board your plane, but somehow you're attached and you're delaying and you don't want to, so you hold on to your body and your attachment and your family and your everything, and you don't want to go, but you have to go. And as Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, whoever takes birth has to die, and whoever dies has to take birth. So that's the thing. So it's a silly situation, but we are so enamored with material nature that we think that this is reality, but this is basically like a dream. So therefore, these questions and their consequent answers awaken us. Yeah? So the whole first canto of Bhagavatam is mainly for preparing us to hear the answers of our questions. And if we, as Prabhupada explains, according to the Vedas, if we have reached the level of human life, then we should ask some questions, and intelligent questions that pertain to the soul, pertain to the self, pertain to our eternal happiness, eternal condition, not limited. How to make money and how to enhance my bodily features and enjoy life, etc., etc. But we are meant to ask for things which are perhaps beyond our current level of perception. So, therefore, it is recommended in the Bhagavad Gita 4:34, Krishna tells Arjuna, find a spiritual master. Find someone that can teach you. What would they teach you? How to ask questions, right? That's the thing. So, I remember when I was 12, 13, 14, 15 years old, I would have these silly questions, how can I become like this, and how can I enjoy like that, and how can I do like this and that, all these stupid questions that I had, right? And then how to become serious and responsible and study and then become successful, and then I can, without success, then I can do whatever other silly plans I had, right? But then when I read Prabhupada's books, from the very first time, basically, I remember little, what do you call that? I wasn't in Spanish. Cycle of birth and death, beyond birth and death. Is that a little, right? Beyond birth and death, yeah. That was my first book, the first book that I touched from Srila Prabhupada. I couldn't even pronounce his name, Prabhupada. I just couldn't. It was just so out there. It's just so difficult. But I just browsed it, proud and hedonistic as I still am, but that time was even worse. And I just browsed the little book, and I remember I thought, whatever page I open, that's what I will read. So, just stopped, and Prabhupada says, he's mentioning Krishna. He says, indirectly Krishna is calling Arjuna what? What does Krishna call Arjuna? 2:11? A fool. Krishna is calling indirectly Arjuna a fool. He says, you're talking big words, you have this knowledge. Prabhupada is making like a simile, like an analogy, like how we are thinking we are so proud. I have this, that. I was doing my architecture career and all that, and I was thinking, I'm going to be this and I'm going to have that and da da da, like many of us. And then Prabhupada starts saying, that basically Krishna is calling Arjuna a fool because he wants to be, he says literally, engineered or a doctor or something. And I was thinking, where is this going? And then he says, but when this fool doesn't understand that he's not the body, and that at any moment he will have to leave the body. He says, and then he gives example. He gives two examples. One is that when you rent a house, you become a tenant, right? And you occupy that house for some time, but it's just a rental. And then at some point, the owner says, I'm going to demolish the house, I'm going to sell the house, or I have somebody else. So you have to leave the house. And the fool, and then Prabhupada is giving the analysis of the foolish person, has to leave, even though he or she doesn't want. We have to leave. So, I was just reading that and I was thinking, okay, so that applies to me. I mean, Prabhupada is talking about some character in some other book. Seems to be like the reference book, Bhagavad Gita, and what do you call italic, and like that, Bhagavad Gita, as it is. And I was just, okay, right, he made a point, okay, yeah, it's true, well, we all have to leave, yeah. Okay, well, if you put it that way, I was wrestling with Prabhupada in my mind. And then he gives another example. He says, the example is very easy to understand for those who have developed their human intelligence. So I was struggling just to understand that example. So Prabhupada gave me another whack. I was thinking, what he's implying here, that I haven't even developed my human intelligence. And there I am, second year of architecture, and I was thinking I'm the big thing, and I couldn't understand that simple example. Then he gives a simpler example, and then he says, just like someone sits on a chair and then eventually moves to another chair or goes walking or goes elsewhere, but he doesn't become attached to the chair thinking that that is his permanent position. And I thought, okay, well, that's really toddler's example. And then I thought, wow, this is true. And I thought, okay, enough. Closed the book, left it there. Didn't read it. Didn't open it for I don't know, months or years, or a year maybe. So Prabhupada is presenting the questions that we are meant to ask. And what are those questions? As often we present for the Bhagavad Gita sections, who am I? Where do I come from? And where am I going? Simple, right? We have said it many times. You have heard it many times, right? Too many times. Somebody told me, Prabhu, it seems like you always say the same things. I said, well, yes. and I was telling, sharing with the devotees on Friday, when it was Friday or Sunday, that when I present these same questions in the Krishna village on Fridays mornings, when I say these questions, they go like, wow, that's far out, right? But for us, it's so common, these questions, because these are the questions. But if you go back a few decades, then we didn't ask those questions. So the first thing that we learn from the spiritual masters is to ask questions, intelligent questions. And therefore, that book, it's called Perfect Questions, Perfect Answers, right? Like that. And now, at the end of the conversation, what happened is that this boy, as Prabhupada called him, young boy, Bob Cohen, who was just making an interview, like that, at the end, he didn't leave. He stayed in Krishna consciousness just because of that interaction with Prabhupada for 2-3 days or something like that. So he stayed in Krishna consciousness. So, that's the power of questions. Everything begins with questions. Even if we don't ask the question, the basic question is, Prabhupada also gives this example, just like the ants. What are the ants looking for? Food. But what food? Sugar. Right? What are the bees looking for? Yeah? Honey. Yeah? They're going there. Their whole life. Something came up in my YouTube feed. And have you heard this one? It's the first time I heard it. The dance of the bees. The dance of the bees. And I saw some studies they have done, and one of the bees starts dancing. I was thinking, this is like our dancing. And what does that dancing mean? I found sugar. I found sweetness. And it dances, and it sends a vibration to the others, and tell them, you go here, you go left, you go right, you go up, you go down, and then you go. And after that little dance, all of them go and look for the honey. I said, this is such a good example. This is like us, right? It's a little dance, Hari Bol, yeah? Where is the nectar? That is their question. Yeah, and we all are looking for that, and that's why we go to parties. That's why we go to where food is. That's where we go to the enjoyment, right? Yeah. This is what? Scones. Okay, we are going later. That's a dance. Now you have to do the dance. So, because that's what the soul is looking for, and we foolishly, whenever we go to the Bhakti Center and we drive 1 hour in Delhi, we see you all chanting there and, doing your thing, and then we go around and we park there, and then we see how everyone is like, okay, it's Friday or Saturday. What day is it? Saturday, is it, right? The day that they have the program. And everyone is like hype. You can feel the energy, the vibe, right? The people's faces all dressed up, and all young men, women, whatever. It's just everyone's looking for the honey, right? But as the Bhagavad Gita explains, what's the example? The happiness in the mode of passion? Like honey in the beginning, or nectar in the beginning, and poison at the end. So we are looking there, go around 3, 4 in the morning, police, ambulance are there. Yeah, that's the honey, that's the nectar. And they have paid money for that, But we may have been there, some of us, we were there. So we know what that means. One spiritual master used to say, you don't need to go to China to know that it exists. And you don't need to go to jail to know that it exists, right? But some of us, we have been there, so we know. So anyway, back to the point of questions. This is where everything starts, and this is where everything ends. Questions. That's the beginning of a spiritual life. And there's no end to spiritual life. But at the end, Buddhajana Prabhu often tells us, whenever he goes to Vrindavan, not all the times, but sometimes, or most times perhaps, someone is dying. As you know, right now, I don't know if you can look it up in your smartphones. And there's so many people dying right now, somewhere in the world. And there's the statistics, right? How many people die today, let's say, and there's a big number. So many people are dying. So he often says, when I go to Vrindavan, somebody's dying, right? And he explains there are different levels or phases that we go through. What's going to happen to me? Basically, that's a query, right? What's going to happen? Where am I going to go? Am I going to be born here in Vrindavan, or in what state? And will I go back to Godhead? I mean, many things that are there. Maybe the people are not saying, but it's clear that the devotees are stressed. So Buddhajana Prabhu tells us that somehow he says that Krishna has chosen him to do that sort of service and go and help the devotees, And it's like when you travel. You're going, right? You're going to India soon, right? When are you going? 24th of October. October, right? So when you're going there, and then you have your ticket, you have your passport and your things, and sometimes these ladies or guys who work for the airlines, they usher you. They said, please come here. Not there. Or sometimes you don't know. It says, look, I got this ticket. Where do I have to go? With this line, that line, especially big airports. So Prabhu says that, he knows that they're struggling in their consciousness, in their mind, with their attachments or with their goals and things like that. And he always says, I go into their ears and I said, just go to Krishna. Just go to Krishna. Forget about everything. Let go of everything. Just go to Krishna. Like that. Hare Krishna. He started chanting for the devotees like that. All the time. And he says, that's all what I tell them. Gurus come, swamis come, devotees come, they chant, they read things, they tell things. But he says, that's basically my only thing. Go to Krishna. Go to Krishna. Imagine. That's my service. Just, here please, come this way. Come this way. Come this way. That's it. So you, thank you, oh, thank you. Then you rush, because sometimes you forget, like this, and then shoot, just go. So that's the purpose, you know. And what is the question that the Goswamis used to ask all the time? Where is Krishna? Where is Krishna? Where is my Air Asia flight? Where is my Virgin flight? Where is my Qantas? Oh, this way, this way. So this is our airline, back to Godhead airline, you know. Where is Krishna? So the questions that are presented by these great souls, Parikshit Maharaj in the Srimad Bhagavatam, in Arjuna, in the Bhagavad Gita, are to help us to, first of all, learn how to make questions. What questions should I ask? So we were saying last time that we wanted to present a summary, and we have here two super students of the Bhakti Shastri, so they know all the questions and answers. So in the Bhagavad Gita, the first question that Arjuna asks Krishna is in chapter 2, text number 7, famous Karpanyado Sapata Subhava. And basically, sometimes a tip or a technique or a trick to learn things, it's to summarize it. Sometimes in one word. Prabhupada even says, or Shiva says, or Vishnu says, one word. So what is that one word, or just a few words of that question, is what is best for me? Right? And there's one word, Sanskrit word, Shreyas. What is best for me? Like that. And shall we say, coincidentally, the sages ask the same question. We have Gita here and Bhagavatam here, right? The same question. The sages initially ask 6 questions. And the main question that they ask in first canto is, what is best for everyone? Exactly the same Sanskrit word. I think it's in 1110 or 9. So that's the main question that we all devotees or aspiring devotees need to have. Text number 9. Tatra tatranjasu jashmam bhavati jat vinischitam pumsam ekantata shreyas. Like Prabhupada, that's his way of singing. Pumsam ekantata shreyas. That's the word. And shreyas means what is best for me. The same word. It's many times. If you Google it in the Veda base online, you will find the word, and it's amazing. And I happened to stumble on that word. I was hearing some class, and somebody was making that point. I thought, okay, let me check that word. Start looking for that word, and that's the main word of chapter 2, text number 7, Bhagavad Gita. And then Arjuna asked again the same question, the same word, Shreyas, in chapter 3, text number 2. And then again he has the same question in chapter 5, text number 1. I said, oh, wow, interesting. And then I was talking to one devotee and discussing about that, and he said, that's the same question that the sages ask. The first question. And I said, really? Then I go back, and then I found here. These are Baladevi Vidyabhushan. He says that we need to find pearls and precious stones in the Shastras. So sometimes one word can mean so much. So here it says, Pumsam ekantata shreyas. If you know basic Sanskrit, I don't know basic Sanskrit, but from Prabhupada, Pumsam means for a person, ekantata means the one thing that we need to find out is shreyas, is what is best for me. Tanna samhitumarhasi. So the translation says, this is the sages, Bhagavatam, first canto. Please, therefore, being blessed with many years, explain to us, listen to this, in an easily understandable way, what you have ascertained to be the absolute and ultimate good for the people in general. So what is best for me and what is best for everyone is the same thing. So 6 questions, but we don't gonna analyze them today. We're just going back to the Bhagavad Gita. The first question that Arjuna asked Krishna is, what is best for me? Same thing. Chapter 2, text number 7. So Krishna describes what is best for him. So what is the first thing that Krishna describes to Arjuna? We were discussing this several weeks. So what is that he discusses? You know it all, so have a go. The first question is, what is best for me? So what is the first thing that Krishna tells Arjuna? What is the first thing that he teaches or preaches to him? What is the soul? Atma Tattva, the truth of the soul. Who are you? What's your identity? First of all, let's put everything aside and let's just talk about this. You're lamenting because you think you are the body. But hey, you're not the body, you're the spirit soul. And the first thing about the soul is that it's eternal. No death here. So that's the first thing. Okay? And then he machine gun him with a number of verses, as we have read, I think from text number 13 or before even 11, all the way to to text number 30, I believe. Yeah. Let me see. Yeah. Text number 30. So all those 20 or nearly 20 verses. And he concludes saying, "O descendant of Bharat, he who dwells in the body can never be slain, never be killed. Therefore you need not grieve for any living being." What happens in funerals? Whenever you have to attend or you have attended funerals, what happens in funerals? Apart from the cookies and whatever else they serve, what happens? Everyone is crying, right? And beating their chest, and pulling and stuff like that. I remember, it's very traumatic. I remember as a kid, I hated to go to those places. My mother will drag me, Latin families, we all have to be there, everyone crying and everyone gets drunk at the end and a horrible experience, horrible, yeah. So that's the first thing. So then he basically is telling him that he needs to become a transcendentalist. He has to become a Dita, someone who is sober, someone who understands, someone who doesn't get bewildered by these things, right? So he gives him a whole lecture up to text 50 something, right? And then he asks another question. What is the second question? What is the second question that Arjuna asked in the Bhagavad Gita? How to recognize it. So you're talking about a transcendentalist? How does he look? How does he walk? How does he sit? How does he speak? What is his language? He asked 4 things, But tell me. So that's what we call the before and after. Have you seen those posters, those banners, or what do you call it? Billboards, right? Everywhere. You got them in India. You go to the States and you see these gigantic billboards everywhere. You see, and in London, in the tube, if you go and get the train there, and then right in the walls there, then across this big advertisement propaganda, before and after. Take this shake and lose half your weight. Take this thing and grow double your hair, mustache everywhere, and there's before and after. It's the same fellow, but here is super slim and super, buff, and on the other one is fat and like that, or the girls or the guy without hair, and now, it's like before and after. So before is first chapter. In first chapter, what is Krishna doing? At the end of the first chapter, you have read Gita? Arjuna, sorry. Lamenting. He's crying, he's shivering, he throws his bow and arrow, and what he says to Krishna eventually? What is his? I don't want to do this, In my job, often I get these phone calls as a counselor, and people say, I can't do this. I can't carry on at this job or in this relationship. I can't do this. And the technical term is burnout. People are burnout. They can't do it. They can't carry on anymore. And I'm so tempted to, just like in a book from Eastern philosophy. Once upon a time, there was a prince who, I'm just so tempted. And we can work through things, this is that. So that's the first question. So after all that preaching, shall we say, that persuasion that Krishna gives to Arjuna, Arjuna asks the second question. Tell me, how can I recognize a transcendentalist? before and after. Okay, here I am crying, shivering, throwing my mobile phone on the floor. I don't want this job anymore. Da da da. I don't want to go to work. I always say this when we are presenting this Krishna conscious or Bhagavad Gita philosophy in home programs generally, in other places, Perth and other areas when we travel. And then I said, you know that feeling, 6:30, 7 o'clock in the morning, Monday, when the work week is going to start? That feeling that I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. I don't want to go to work. You have to wake up early, and there you are like a sardine in a freeway or in the train, and everyone's just looking spaced out, and it's just like, what are we doing here? Day after day after day after day. I don't want to do this. But anyway, you do it. Sacrifice. Yes, go and work. So the second question is, how do I recognize a transcendentalist? How does he look? How does he walk? How does he sit? How does he talk? What's his language, etc.? How does he sit? Right? So Krishna gives them an answer. And it's a long answer all the way to the end of the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 2, text number 72. Right? But the first thing, because many things he says, but the first thing, and that's, as I said, the technique. And what's a technique? Like when Maha comes, you're all experts at that, right? When Maha comes, you make a beeline towards what? Where do you go? To the food, of course. But which one? What do you go and tackle first? That's your favorite, right? The generic answer is you go and look for what you want the most. So sometimes the takeaway technique is when we are hearing, reading, studying, or thinking, or realizing, or remembering, is just focus on one. What works the best for you. So for you is Yohalava, like that. So in this case, Krishna is telling many things in terms of the description of the transcendentalist. But there's one main thing that determines, or it's like everything else hinges upon that thing that Krishna says first. He says, the transcendentalist, the main characteristic of a transcendentalist, I'm paraphrasing, he didn't say it like that. But the main characteristic of a transcendentalist is someone who has purified, spiritualized his desires. Right? Because we are here in this body, we are here in this prison because of desires. And the desire is very simple. What is that desire? I want to enjoy. Okay? I want to enjoy. So Srila Prabhupada explains that when we change that into I want Krishna to enjoy, then everything changes. So we make a big palace for him, and you see how beautiful the devotees dress Krishna every single day. Every single day. Why? Because he's a person and he likes it. And when he's happy, the devotees are happy. And it's like every day, every day, every day, every day. Like, how do they do that? I'll never be able to do something like that. The devotees are there, like bees, happily, dressing them and decorating them and cooking for them and worshipping them every day. And look, have you seen any deity of Krishna sad with a smile this way? Never. He's happy, like that. The gurus may be somewhat serious because they put you in line, but Krishna is always happy, like that, because he's a person. Yeah. So the idea is, the Bhagavad Gita is to change from that focus that I want to enjoy, or towards I want Krishna to enjoy. And that's love. That's basically love. And Prabhupada explains that consciousness is better, or mostly manifested in the love that a mother has for the child. I always say father or mother, but Prabhupada said mother, because I'm a father. Right? So a mother, particularly a mother, why? Because especially when the babies are little, then the mothers cannot sleep, right? Cannot leave. They always have to be running around the babies, right? And they are thinking often when we present the Bhagavad Gita, and I ask any mothers, any mothers of young babies, and some may sheepishly, yeah, here. This, where is your child? And they know exactly where's the child, and they know exactly what time they took their bottle, and exactly everything, how many diapers they have, and everything. He's like so fully conscious of their baby. Why? Because of the love that they have. Now that tendency is manifested not only in humans, but also in animals, right? In animals, have you seen animals when they're just have given birth? Like sometimes we have these little calves, and then you go close to them, and the cow, the mother, they come, right? Like that. So Krishna is a person, and this is the whole purpose of the Bhagavad Gita, to explain to us that Krishna is a person, and just like you have feelings and you have likings and dislikings, that's normal. The same way, Krishna is a person. We may not see him with these material eyes, but we can experience his presence. We can experience the consciousness, that a devotee can have when there is some love or attachment for his service. And the easiest way, because these things can turn sometimes a little philosophical, and we may, as we were saying earlier, we may not be used to analyze things like that. People rather turns on the telly, buy this, buy that, and then watch something silly here and there, laugh or cry, or horror movie or something, and then go and eat an ice cream or pizza and spend some money, and then your life goes like that, like a, what do you call those? Like a hamster, right? Just run. Oh, I bought this. No. Oh, I bought that. No. Until I'm getting old and dying, and then one day, remember we were giving the example of the terminal, and then the loudspeakers, Mr. Such and Such, your flight is about to leave, to take off. Please board the flight. And then you're not, no, I don't want to go to the hospital. I don't want to go to the nursing home. I don't want to leave. But you have to. We have to. Right? In fact, I was checking some studies, and lately there is a whole, I forgot now the name, how they name it, a study of death, thanology or something like that. It's there online. There are many scientists and pseudoscientists, and anyway, they study this, and many people are using this because a lot of people experience depression when somebody dies or when they are facing their own mortality. But the Bhagavad Gita addresses that right from the beginning. So that's the first question: what is best for me? Then the second question is, how can I identify someone who has realized this? How can I identify? So the first thing that Krishna says is, what? I said it. Who remembers? Spiritualize the desires. It's not like me, but Krishna and others, but not me. So that's an advanced spiritualist. Right. So that is what Krishna presents early on in the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 2, Atma-tattva. But then the question comes, okay, if I'm not this body, and I'm a spirit soul, and I'm meant to, let's say, purify my material desires, spiritualize my material desires, in other words, give up my material desires, right? Then why do I have to work? I'd rather just chill out, do nothing or not much, and just take it easy, right? Simple living, simple thinking, right? Don't think too much. And there are many people like that, right? Sometimes, I just take it easy. I just don't get involved. Peace and love, right? Why should I endeavor? Why should I endeavor? That's the third question that Arjuna presents in the Bhagavad Gita. Why should I work? Arjuna was a warrior, so he had to go to war. Why should I fight? Why should I work? Why should I take care of these kids? Anyway, they are not my kids, really. This is just for some time. I'm not the body, they're not the body, so who cares? And everything works by the arrangement of somebody or something, right? So might as well just leave them there. Like, there's a lot of that nowadays. Responsible parents. So, what is the answer? Krishna tells, no, you have to do your duty. You have to do what you're meant to do. This is, how do you call that in Sanskrit? Thank you. Dharma. And dharma means two things. Prabhupada mainly gives the explanation of dharma. Dharma, dhara. My substance. This is what I'm supposed to do. What is the dharma of sugar? That's it. What is the dharma of chili? Those are the examples. Spicy, hot, right? So, the dharma, it's what you are sort of made of. When people says, show me what you're made of, right? Like that. Show me what you're made of. Okay? It's a challenge. So, the same way, Krishna is telling Arjuna, you have a dharma according to the psycho-social, physical design that you have. If you're a woman, if you're a man, if you're a father, you're a son, or you're a warrior, or a carpenter, or plumber, or whatever it is, business person, or teacher, or whatever you are, do it. This is what you have to do it. But, what was the answer that Krishna gave to Arjuna when he asked the characteristics of the transcendentalist? What was the first thing? Spiritualize your desire. Use your dharma, use your duty, your obligation, your work, but for a spiritual purpose. Right? Right? That is basically the message of chapter 3. Karma yoga. Kara means what? Kara means hand. Hand. Tava kara kamalavare. Kara means hand, literally, etymologically. That's what it means in Sanskrit. So karma means what I do with my hands. I mean, that's a way of putting it, but that's basically my work. That's my work. So karma means that. The literal translation. So karma yoga. And yoga means, that's ABC, connect. Not twist your body this way, that way. I mean, that's just part of it. That's why there are different karmas. Karma yoga, dhyana yoga, jnana yoga, etc. And so Krishna starts his explanation of how to connect everything. Your body, it's called karma yoga. Your actions, your work. And then what else? Your intellect. How do you connect your intellect? Gyan, it's called jnana yoga. Right? Your power of thinking. Chapter 6. How is chapter 6 called? Dhyana yoga. Dhyana yoga means the power of thinking. That's what it means. How to focus your thinking. And if everything is connected, let's be realistic. For the first question of Arjuna in the Bhagavad Gita and the first question of the sages in the Bhagavatam, what was that? Who remembers? I know what is best for me? You see, this process is best for you. It's like a doctor tells you, you have this cancer or you have this issue. If you eat this or do that, you don't have much to live. Wouldn't you, pay attention? Wouldn't you follow that advice? Yeah, that's what it is. So the patient is telling the doctor, what is best for me, dear doctor, a specialist of sorts. And Krishna tells him, don't focus your life in matter, in your material body. Use it, it's okay, but focus on your spiritual advancement. And then he explains what the soul is. You're not the body, you are the soul. And then utilize your body to work and spiritualize your job, your earnings, your purpose, right? And in order for us to do that, what do we need to do? We need to be trained. We need to be trained. So it's like if you want to be a doctor, you have to go and study forever. at the university or somewhere, right? Forever. It's always learning and you know, the lawyer or whatever you want to do. You have to learn. In this material world, even for writing, right? When we were babies, you know, even for talking, for going to toilet, everything, toilet training and all these things, you have to learn everything. Hmm? So that's the cycle of samsara. You have to learn. So therefore, Krishna says in the Gita, you need to accept a teacher that teaches you how to work spiritually. Because otherwise, your tendencies are just going to work for me. And I was hearing a class the other day, and Devamrita Maharaj was giving this example. I thought it was wonderful for practitioners. It says, you know, if we have the opportunity to be in one of our Hare Krishna festivals, you know what Hare Krishna festivals means, just madness, right? Jump up and down and prasadam, it's incredible, and the music is incredible, everything is incredible. And then I sort of posed the question, who is enjoying? You're enjoying? You're enjoying? Are you? I'm asking, honestly. You enjoy? Yeah, it's amazing. I'm enjoying. So he says that if we are focused on that enjoyment, that's very, what do you call that? Very neophyte advancement. But if at some point you think, oh, Srila Prabhupada is enjoying, you know, Krishna is enjoying, that's a different consciousness. It's a different consciousness. It's not all about us. It's not all about me. It's about someone higher. And that's what's called spiritualize your consciousness, you know? Because we can easily be thinking, okay, where are the buns? And where's the halava? You know, for me. Everything's for me. But if we change that into our Supreme Father, the source of everything, then our consciousness changes. And then the halava, that particular day, tasted like never before, right? Because of the consciousness. It's a science. You know, I mean, sometimes my wife, she's a cook, and sometimes she says that, you know, that the food, it's not only the ingredients, it's also the consciousness. So consciousness of the cook. And that's, I mean, I don't know how scientific you can go and study and test those things. But definitely, I mean, that, I don't know your experience, that's my experience. Yeah, sometimes cooks are just amazing, right? And sometimes you taste food and you think, somebody very advanced must have cooked this. Because it's not only the technique, but it's also the consciousness. So the question that Arjuna asked in chapter 2, text 54, is what is the consciousness of a transcendentalist? And the answer that Krishna gives is someone that his desires are not meant for selfish purposes, but for selfless service to the Supreme. That's the idea. So in this way, as we can see, just like in this image here, we can see that the road, it's going higher and higher based on the, you know, edges of that road, yeah, and we are building that up like that. So we ask questions, perfect questions, pertinent questions, and then the spiritual master and Krishna answers that, and it's bringing us higher and higher, and then we can see things from the top in a different fashion, in a different way, different consciousness. Okay, so this is a little discussion on Bhagavad Gita and some things from Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, the importance of questions in a spiritual life. Okay, we stop here to honor time. Any questions, any points? Thank you, Bruce. Uh-huh. True. Right. Correct. Mm. Mm. Yeah. Yep. Definitely. Yep. Yeah, yeah. If you're a yogi. Yes. Uh, yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You're encouraging them. Yeah. Yeah. Hanuman Prashad used to say that in the early days when they joined, at night they say they had to eat a lot. Okay? He's telling the story when he was a young bhakta. And then he asked, well, in the Bhagavad Gita it says that we shouldn't eat too much, right? And he said, no, no, you have to, because prasadam is a spiritual, so it gives you spiritual strength for next morning, a Mongol Arctic at 4:30, you're going to be jumping up and down. And he said, sure enough, I was eating tons, and then we'll wake up. Or like Madhavendra Puri, you don't even have to eat, and you're satisfied. Like many cooks have that experience. I always hear from my wife when she says that she cooks, and she's thinking, okay, we're going to feed the devotees, this and that, and then you're not hungry, or you're not that hungry. That's another thing, right? But Prabhupada says two things: eat with physical hunger, because then the prasad really tastes so good when you're so hungry. And the other one is eat with spiritual hunger. Krishna, he tasted this. That's when Maha comes, everybody's there. Not because it's just better quality or whatever, but because has been prepared and offered with the best conscience. Food can change, Prabhupada says, the brain tissues. We can have a physical effect. But at the same time, like my Guru Maharaj says, only Krishna can digest things in a certain way. We don't compete with Bhagavan, and you cannot eat tons and tons of halava, and then your liver, it's going to complain at some point. So we have to also be measured, like that. But that comes in time. Prabhupada also says in some purport, in the beginning he says you have to eat as much as you can, up to your neck. But eventually you have to purposely say, no more this, no more that. For example, now Kartik is coming, and one of the austerities that some people take is they don't eat sweets, or they don't eat grains, or they don't eat after sunset or something like that, But anyway, that's not our process. You just cover your ears and eat as much as you can for the time being. Srila Prabhupada ki, Bhagavad Gita ki jai, Gaur Pramanandi, Hari Hari Bol. Hare Krishna, take care. Eso para arriba. I have to turn that off because you cannot. Look, Lucas, can you help us with this? My bag. It's always. Oh yeah. Okay, so you can.
I'm lost.
I used to watch.
I used to be a bit like, man.
Yeah.
Oh, can we just keep it there? Yeah, and also just OCD. It's been there for 25 years of my life. Oh, really? Oh, if it's easier to read for you. Yeah, usually I
Kiba jayo jayo Gora Chande Arotika Soba 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 Janavita Tavane Jagamana Loba Janavita Tavane Jagamana Loba Janavita Tavane Jagamana Loba Janavita Tavane Jagamana Loba Gaurangera Rotik Soba Jagajana Mana Loba Gaurangera Rotik Soba Jagajana Mana Loba Gaurangera Rotik Soba Jaga Jana Mana Loba Gaurangera Rotik Soba Jaga Jana Mana Loba Jaga Jana Mana Loba Jaga O Jaga Jana Mana Loba Jaga Jana Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitai Gaura Hari Kibadakine Nitai Chand Bame Gadadara Kibadakine Nitai Chand Bame Gadadara Kibadakine Nitai Chand Bame Gadadara Nikate Advaita Shini Vasa Chatradara Nikate Advaita Shini Vasa Chatradara Oh Advaita Shine Vasa Chatradhara Ekate Advaita Shine Vasa Chatradhara Vase Ache Gaurachan Ratna Simhasan Gibabati Ache Gaurachan Ratna Simhasan Arate Koren Brahma Adi Devagane Arate Koren Brahma Adi Devagane Divanara Hari Adi Kori Shamaradulaya Kibanara Sanjaya Mukunda Basu Sarigaya Sanjaya Mukunda Basu Sarigaya Kiva Sangha Vadganta Vaje Vaje Karatala Kiva Sangha Baje, baje, baje karatala, madhura mridanga baje, paramarasala, madhura mridanga baje, paramarasala, ganga baje. Ganda baje, madhur 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 baje, anta baje, madhur 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 baje, sanka baje, ganta baje, madhur 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 baje, sanka baje, ganta baje, madhur madhur baje. Sanka baje, ganta baje, madhur 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 baje, sanka baje, ganta baje, madhur madhur madhur. Nitya Gaura Haribo, 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 Nitya Gaura Haribo, Nitya Gaura Haribo, Haribo, Haribo. Nitya Gaura Haribo, 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 Nitya Gaura Haribo, Nitya Gaura Haribo, Haribo, Nitya Gaura Haribo. Iva bahu koti Chandra Jeni Vadana Ujvala Gibaba Ho Koti Chandra Jeni Vadana Ujvala Gibaba Ho Koti Chandra Jeni Vadana Ujvala Gibaba Ho Koti Chandra Jeni Vadana Ujvala Gala dese banamala Kore jalamala gala jese anamala. Kore jalamala Iksvaku narada preme gada gada. Iksvaku narada Shiva Shiva Sukha narada preme gada gada. Pakati vinoda deke Gaura sambara Pakati vinoda deke Gaura sambara Jayo Jayo Gaura Chande Aroti Kaso Bhakti Jayo Jayo Gaura Chande Aroti Kaso Chana Vita Tavane Jagamanalo Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Nitai Gaura Haribo, 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 Nitai Gaura Haribo, Nitai Gaura Haribo, Haribo, Nitai Gaura Haribo, Nitai Gaura Haribo, 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 Nitai Gaura Haribo. Jaya Radhe Sam, Jaya Radhe Sam, Jaya Radhe Sam, Jaya Radhe Sam, Radhe Sam, Jaya Radhe Sam, Jaya Radha Govardhana Dhare, Radha Govardhana Dhare Se Radhe, Jaya Radha Govardhana Dhare, Radha Govardhana Dhare Se Radhe, Jaya Radha Govardhana Dhare, Radha Govardhana Dhare Se Radhe, Radha Govardhana Dhare, Radha Govardhana Dhare. Hare Hare Krishna Balaram Jayo Giri Govardhan Jayo Krishna Balaram Jayo Giri Govardhan Krishna Balaram Jayo Giri Govardhan Jaya Krishna Balaram Jayo Giri Govardhan Jayo Krishna Balaram Jayo Giri Govardhan Krishna Balaram Jayo Giri Govardhan. Jayo Jayo Prabhupada, 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 Jayo Jayo Prabhupada, Jayo Jayo Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jayo Jayo Prabhupada, 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 Jayo Jayo Prabhupada, Jayo Jayo Prabhupada, Jaya Gurudev, 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Jaya Gurudev,
Okay. No, it's alright. Namaste Narasrimhaya. Namaste Narasrimhaya. Pralada Lada Daine. Pralada Lada Daine. Hiranyakasipu Vaksha. Shilatankana Kalaye. Ito Nisrimha Parato Nisrimha. Yato Yato Yamitato Nisrimha. Bahia Nisrimha, Idaye Nisrimha. Asrimha Madim Saranam Prapadye. Tavakara Kamalahari Nakam Abhuta Singam Dalita Hiranyakasipu Zanubringam Keshavadita Narahari Rupa Jaya Jagadisha Hari Jaya Jagadisha Hari Jaya Jagadisha Hari Avakara Kamala Hari Naka Adhuta Singha Dalita sipu tanu bringam Keshavadita Narari Rupa Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Keshavadita Narari Rupa Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Keshavadita Narari Rupa Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Nasringadev Jaya Nasringadev Jaya Nasringadev Jaya Nasringadev Nasringadev Jaya Nasringadev Jaya Nasring Jaya Nasringadev Jaya Nasringadev Jaya Nasringadev Jaya Nasringadev Jaya Prahlad Maharaj Jaya Prahlad Maharaj Jaya Prahlad Maharaj Jaya Prahlad Maharaj Prabhupada 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Nrsingadev Bhagavan ki Prahlad Maharaj ki Nitai Gaura Premananda